Hey
guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to the unofficial Karate Combat Show. This is a review. A review. Keep getting confused with review, and preview.
It's a review.
It's a review. But why isn't it preview? Why is it preview
and not the English language
review? But you're French. English is basically French plus Flemish, and I blame it on you, mate. But anyway,
I don't know.
But yes, welcome to. We're going to do a review, not a review. Review on KC36.
Yep.
But yeah, take it away, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I was a bit flat stick with the family on the Sunday, so I didn't get to watch it live. I watched a couple of fights straight away, pretty much afterwards. Some of the ones that I wanted to see. So I watched obviously the two main fights, and I also watched Kenji. So you'll have to tell us about the other ones and what you reckon. The fights that I saw, I absolutely loved them, to be honest. I'm pretty keen to watch the other ones as soon as possible.
Well, actually, the time for us in Brisbane, it was 9 o'clock start, 9 a.m., which is great because I thought it was 5 a.m. when I think I want to message you.
Yeah, and I was like,
I thought it was 5
a.m. 5 a.m.
But in America, they've got Eastern time, Central time, and anyway, I got a bit confused. But yeah, 9 a.m. was awesome because at 5 o'clock I watched the Rugby League World Cup. So anyway, but so let's go through. So I made some notes myself on a couple of fights, and I know you did as well. So let's go through the first fight, which was Damien Villa versus Maximiliano La Rosa from Greece, and Damien is from the US. So this fight, so Villa is basically Taekwondo. Yeah. He's got a massive Taekwondo background, and even when they put up style of karate, it was TKD.
Oh, really?
Instead of even writing Taekwondo.
Oh, nice.
It was, yeah. So
I like that there's actually various styles.
Well, we did talk about it with
a lot of the guys have done, MMA,
totally.
Muay Thai, karate. Some have a karate background, very strong. Some have just a light karate background. So that makes it interesting.
Yeah, well, I remember in a national competition, I was walked up to my first fight in the heavyweights, and this guy's taller than me too. And anyway, as soon as we got to the line, he started turning side on. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like Taekwondo guy. And he was, man, seriously, I've never been kicked as hard as that guy kicked me. And like, I'm blocking him. I ended up beating him. Don't worry, I flogged him like 4-0 or 5-0, whatever it was. But he was in the Australian team. And I actually talked to him quite a bit. His name's Adam Myers. So Adam, if you're watching or listening, what's up? But he's got his own Taekwondo school, and he actually started doing MMA as well.
Yeah.
But man, his kicks, dude, I thought they were breaking my arm. So for those who think that Taekwondo kicks aren't strong, bro, just go and get kicked by somebody. And he's a heavyweight too, so obviously, and I'm a heavyweight, so he's taking his kicks. Couple times, yeah, man. I thought he was going to kill me. His kicks, but don't worry, I flogged him. But Villa, he was great. His kicks were really good. The only thing I would say is he needs more hands. Obviously, he's got a Taekwondo background, and it was a lot of kicks. But when La Rosa was fighting him, La Rosa didn't really understand how to fight him properly. He should have been sitting, if it was me fighting him, sitting outside of the pocket of the kicks, where he was sort of sitting inside
the range.
Yeah, just getting pulled apart with the kicks. Didn't really understand how to.
Against a good kicker, you basically got to be right on them.
You've got to be inside or outside.
But that's
you can't be in that range.
That's just basics, isn't it?
Yeah, and unfortunately, he lost. Villa won, but he just couldn't find his range. Yeah, he's either inside or he's outside of the pocket. For me, I would have fought him outside because he's much faster than me. If I fight him inside of the pocket, he will eat me with those kicks. So for me, I mean, this is a lightweight division too. So imagine how fast those kicks are.
Yeah.
So, but look, and La Rosa, he was getting tired. He was getting tired from eating those kicks. It was just like bang, 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 bang. So He was good, but La Rosa, he didn't attack enough.
Mm.
And if it had gone, it went to decision. But I had it first round Villa, second round La Rosa, because he did come back a little bit, and then third round Villa, and end up being a split decision. I thought it was going to be 3 because just the way that the referees and judges look at it, I think they like the attacker rather than somebody sort of maybe sitting outside of the pocket and coming back. But
I mean, it depends. Like as long as you're like if you're making the kicks miss and then countering,
yeah,
that's fine. But if you're just making a miss, then you know you're not really doing your work.
Yeah. But also I will say that La Rosa had a much better clinch game, and he did a what's this called, a Sainagi over the top.
Oh, judo style one.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I loved it, but Villa did not appreciate it. It was a little. I love it when two martial art guys they're training or competing, and when somebody does something wrong, and instead of like fighting it, they like get up in each other's grill, like, oh, you're like, dude, just take a step back and like wait 10 seconds, and you can just smack him. But like something goes off, and all of a sudden, like these round strikes come in, and instead of like really thinking, okay, well, I can actually legitimately punch this guy in the face in 10 seconds, but the brain snaps, the red mist comes out, and then all
that reminds me of Riste Mladenovski, when we were competing. Where was it in? We were competing WKF in Holland in Dutch Open, and I think it was for bronze medal. And
what, you were fighting him?
No, Riste. So he was fighting for bronze medal. We were just watching. I was there. I competed, and right at the end of the fight, so he'd won the fight. It was Yame, and then the other guy slapped him, hit him, pushed him, slapped him, and then it was after Yame, and then Riste slapped him back.
Yes, I have.
And I just remember because someone had clipped that slap and like had remixed it, so it was just like yeah. And our coach, Sensei Morgan, the national coach at the time, absolutely ripped him to him because they both got shikaku'd. So they both got nothing, but he'd already won. Yeah. So the other guy actually had nothing to lose, but he lost the medal because of it. Yeah. So yeah, it's something. It's I think sometimes it can be something that takes.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like
it's just been punching each other, but that slap. Oh.
Like it's same with footy players. Like they all train boxing, and they're all boxers. But when there's a fight, it's all like push. You're like, dude, just take a step back and bang, bang, and the fight's over in a second. But anyway, let's move on to the second fight, which. Unfortunately, if you're watching the live broadcast, it kept skipping.
Cutting off.
Kept cutting in and cutting out. And I thought it was my internet connection. So I actually left my house halfway through the second fight and came to the dojo where we are now because it's much better quality internet. So unfortunately, I missed most the last round, I suppose. But if you look at it's Christina. You have a go of a surname. Christina
Cavacapolo. Grace Cavacapolo.
Yep. That's Christina K versus K Assessor from the Philippines, who's apparently her coach is Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, really?
Manny Pacquiao's coach. One of those two. I can't remember which one.
There's a connection.
There is a massive connection, and there was a lot of hype around K as well coming through. However, unfortunately, she lost quite convincingly. Christina smashed her. It was a smashing right from the start. Christina looked stronger. I think she hasn't lost a match yet. She's a beast. And I will say though, I did notice that Kay's doggy karate pants looked too long. They actually look like if you see like a WKF Kumite fighter, and they have it's past the ankle, they just look too long on her. So I'd maybe just check if I was her, I'd check the tailor just to make sure that because she just.
What I really like on the gis is on the gi pants, obviously because there's no top, is the flag.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that they must. with those pants, the belt, it never comes out. Like you have to tie
No,
it
there's
a couple
a-
times, but yeah, it's got the
There's like
loops.
hooks. Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how they've incorporated the belt because if they could have just had karate pants, but they've gone the belt. That's awesome. I love that. But I will say though that Christina's combos, everything was bang bang, bang bang,
In and out, in and out.
front and rear hand just all day. And unfortunately, Kay she looked out of her depth. She looked flustered.
Bit of a mismatch, I reckon.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was very hard. I think that was her first karate combat fight. Very hard to go against. That's like going up against world champion in your first match. It's it's really hard, and I just didn't see much in Kay. I had seen a lot of her other, her pre-work for it, but on the day she got smashed. Christina did a spinning full kick on her as well. And it was awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, I missed the third round. I had Christina the first round and second round, and obviously she won the third round. So that was a bit of a drubbing. Now the third fight I missed because I was driving here. So it was Abdesalam Amakanasi. Apologies if I get your name wrong. I'm very sorry. Versus Kalvis Kalnins from Latvia. Unfortunately, I missed that, but Abdesalam ended up winning. I'm not sure. I didn't watch any of that fight. Unfortunately, I was rushing here because I wanted to watch the next one, which was Kenji Grillon. Oh, how do you say it in French? Grillon. Like Leon.
Yeah. Kenji is obviously not French.
No, Kenji.
But as I was telling you before, that's it. Like they asked him, "Oh, how'd you get the name Kenji?" And he's like, "Well, my dad teaches karate, and he decided to call me Kenji because he's this karate instructor." And so that's the unusual French name, certainly.
But Kenji is not a karate name; it's just a Japanese.
It's just a Japanese name, I guess. But if you love karate, you kind of.
Well, as I said, I tried to call my son Choki after Choki Motobu, but unfortunately, my wife did not approve, and I said, "Well, what about Ankle after Ankle Itosu?" And then I tried to call our dog Choki, and I was calling him Choki for the first couple of weeks, but no, it didn't catch on. So, damn, unfortunately. But my sensei in Japan,
basically, you've got no control at your house. You can't even call your own dog what you want.
It's son, dog, wife, car, washing machine, and then I'm down maybe the 14th. Yeah, it's pretty ordinary, but that's just how it rolls. Like you would be the last one in your family too, mate, and you've got another one on the way.
Pretty sure I don't have the dog yet, so I'm still there's less.
Give it time. So that's a big reason Leon unfortunately missed. Couldn't watch it live.
Yeah, I've got a heavily pregnant wife who's due in probably about any time now, really, 2 weeks. And two little kids. But no, I enjoyed Kenji's fight. I really was looking forward to watching his fight because obviously, I watched him when I was younger. I used to compete the same time as him, WKF. And he was obviously, powerhouse back then. And right from the get-go, round one, he looked the goods. He was like, he just looked faster, stronger. He was kicking, that calf kick. Oh, bro. I was just training yesterday. My coach was like, "Bro, calf kick's better than thigh kick." He's like, "Kick calf, just as much power. It's going to do way more damage." And after watching a few of those calf kicks, I was just like, "Ooh, like, Nikos was struggling to walk. Yeah, like that first round was just an absolute demolishing." And I thought, "Oh, this is going to be over in the second round. It's going to be over real quick." Yeah. Somehow
he's strong.
Nikos came back.
Yeah, man.
Second round, look, he switched to southpaw for a little bit. Yeah. But then couldn't keep it. But just enough time to let it heal up a little bit, I guess.
You mean let it calf up?
Get a calf up. And then he started doing the calf back. I was like, "Oh, this could go."
And then Kenji looked like he was going down.
Yeah, I actually thought.
Yeah, me too.
This is the tide has turned. Kenji's going to lose this. Yeah. Because he was starting to take some heavy calf kicks, amongst punches and whatever. But he definitely, like, it was even round. And then just in those last what, 2 seconds of that second round.
Yeah.
Yeah,
8-1.
Nikos kicked his calf, and I think he must have kicked his knee.
Yeah.
Or his
It was soft. It
shin,
was soft on
upper
hard.
shin or something. And I mean, we all kicked elbows, knees with no foot pads. Even with foot pads, you kick it, if you kick it hard, and so he just couldn't continue, which was a bit disappointing because I would have loved to have seen the third round.
But the only reason he would have not competed was with a broken leg. That guy is.
Well, I reckon that. Yeah, I mean, he hobbled in after.
He slid down.
Yeah. And look, kudos to him for taking such a pummeling in that first round and then doing so well in that second round.
Yeah.
Absolute warrior. But I don't know. Like, they didn't show a slow replay or whatever. But I'm imaging either
imaging,
like
imagining
like that gap in the heel, or like the front between the foot and the shin, or maybe even the foot.
I thought he broke his foot or had done some serious damage to it.
I mean, I've fractured my foot kicking someone's elbow before. Didn't know that it was fractured at the time, just really hurt. And it wasn't until after I got the x-ray and like, oh yeah.
Well, I broke my foot, remember, a couple of weeks before nationals in Tassie.
Was that kicking elbow?
You're kicking elbow, yeah. And unfortunately I paid for the trip. So I had to go on crutches. That was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's for another time. But yeah, Kenji, man. I had Kenji, actually I had Kenji in the first round, and then I had Nick in the second round.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Are we allowed to call him Nikos?
Nikos, yeah.
Nick.
I mean, look, definitely Kenji, absolutely demolished
Kenji in the first round. Yeah.
I thought that's what I said. I thought it was going to be an absolute smashing.
Yeah.
And then Nikos came out and just turned the tide.
I wouldn't say like right from the start of round 2, but probably maybe the first quarter. It was Kenji, and then something. Then Nikos
got a few good. He found the spot,
bro. Yeah, it was awesome.
A good spot, a good few couple of calf kicks, and that just kind of like. Yeah.
It's funny that Kenji started with those kicks because of his WKF background. It would have been natural.
Well, at the start he was he was doing all kinds of spinning back kicks.
Yeah, it's an adrenaline dump. Like in the first 10 seconds, 30 seconds,
he's just going nuts.
He's just going nuts. Yeah, we had this guy that trained with us that we called Tornado, because his first match, and he was in his like late 30s. After 30 seconds, he threw every kick and punch that he could, and he comes over, and I'm just coaching him, and he's like, oh, I'm out sense. I'm like, dude, you have another two and a half minutes. So get back out there. So after that, we call him Tornado. That was his one and only fight. But anyway, but that is what adrenaline does. And he looks slick from the start. He looked like a WKF fighter.
Yeah,
his footwork was better. Nikos was more
clean. Nikos was more kind of boxing. Not completely boxing stance, obviously, but shorter.
But yeah, it was great. I love that fight. But and there was a lot of respect in that fight too. So actually, I don't think there was a fight. Oh, we'll get to that one a little bit later. But I don't think there was a fight where there wasn't respect shown. And I think that's what karate combat is. Well, karate in general is different. There's huge
boxing or UFC. I mean, when we were talking to Josh Clayhagen the other day, he did mention that he's never been part of an organization that has so much respect, not just between the administration and the athletes, but the athletes themselves. And then I was watching that Bas Ruben clip that before the fight between Bruno and Skrivers. The
tiger.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. There's gonna be some animosity, but there was honestly nothing but respect between those two, and I mean, they still were like both inside, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, totally. They're still,
but in a respectful way, and that's really the difference with karate. I was watching it, and they said, look, no, I'm going to knock him out, and this is what I'm going to do. But it's not. And he said, "Don't." And he's like, "Don't think it's going to be easy." And he's like, "I didn't say it was going to be easy. I just said I was going to do it."
Yeah.
I know it's
praise for each other.
Yeah, like I know you're good, but I'm going to beat you. Yeah. But it's an interesting dynamic.
It's totally. It's totally different to boxing.
Yeah,
boxing is all about me. whereas karate is all about the other person.
And I guess that's the difference for me, say in UFC with somebody like Wonderboy, who he's got he's a nice guy, but that's just the karate way, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other UFC fighters are like, oh, this and that, and
Bro, did you watch any of the weigh-in? Most of them are bowing to each other.
Oh, no,
like shake hands, like,
oh, really?
like that is awesome. You don't see that anywhere else. And also when the guys are doing like Machida, when he was fighting the UFC, if he knocks somebody down, he bows to them. And also he goes over and talks to the coach and thanks the other coach, bows to the other coach.
Well, I noticed that, like, at the karate combat when there was knockouts, people were doing the traditional kneeling down, waiting. There's a lot of respect.
Massive respect.
And that's really refreshing.
Oh,
in a combat sport. I mean, it's really the only it's the only combat sport that has that.
Yeah.
So if you're, I guess, setting an example for kids the future, and that combat sport is not just about being a complete douchebag, but
that's right.
It's respecting each other, and I guess understanding. I think what karateka understand is the ultimate victory is victory against oneself, and you're fighting that other person to test yourself, but you're not fighting them with animosity. You're fighting them. You're both there to grow, and I think that's what makes it different.
And these guys have been training in karate for a long time, so it's not like somebody who's done 6 months. So they've gone through a journey of white belt to black belt and beyond.
Most of them started when they were kids. Yeah. They've been in karate forever, like us.
Yeah, and it's still part of your DNA. Yeah, man, I love it. I will say this was the best fight card they've had.
Yeah,
like it was great. The production value was awesome. I love the Halloween. I love how Baz invested those Beatles. There was a clip also. Baz and Wonderboy were at Subway after the event, and Baz was still in his gear, except for without a wig, and he's ordering a Subway. Anyway, but yeah, otherwise, man, Kenshi looks good, bro. He's one to look out for. He's got all of the. He's got.
I think now that he's got one under his belt, so to speak, he'll know what to expect next time.
Yeah, the only thing
he's clearly got the skills.
Yeah, he does. The only thing he probably needs is more takedown, understanding how to take a leg and stuff like that. But won't be long. I mean, he's probably doing it already. It's just not because he's been doing karate for so long. It's just not natural for him as yet. And I'd say Nikos needed that too. So, but anyway, for those that they didn't really, there was no real need for a takedown because everything was just calf kick for calf kick.
Yeah.
So, but
neither of them are going for a jog anytime soon.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
And so you watched the Agaev from Azerbaijan and the colorway.
Right.
Was that good?
Look at the first word I wrote. Wow. Like these are big boys. So they lined up with Adam Kovacs, the president. And I mean, Adam, what did he used to fight? Under 75?
No, he's fighting under 65.
Under 65. Okay. I mean, he must be at least 5'11", 5'12".
You reckon?
I think so.
I don't think so.
These guys were like.
I think he's maybe like my height. He's about 5'10".
No, he's not that short.
Yeah, I think
you're not 5'10". What are you talking about?
I feel 6'10", but no, I don't know. I'm 173, 174 centimeters. What's that?
Short. But
he's under 65. He's about the same height as Sergi, roughly, give or take.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe. Well, these two look like giants. Yeah. He was here, and they were like up here. And my wife actually saw them. She's like, "Jesus, they look like giants." Like they were huge, like a good, like almost a full head above Kovacs.
Yeah.
Both of them. They're both massive human beings. I think they were, I'd have to check their weights, but they were probably 90, 95.
Yeah.
Like just massive
big
dudes.
Big boys.
So the first word I wrote was wow, because right from the start, it was on.
There's no testing. There was in the waters a little.
There was no way this was going
to.
There was no testing, mate. It was just straight up. I thought it was going to be knockout in the first 30 seconds, but would you believe it actually went to the third round, it was just crazy. So I wrote a lot of notes, but for this one, Agev, he actually looked more like, because he trains with Rafael Agev. I don't know if
Are they
they're
relation?
I'm
Find
not
out.
sure. They are very different sizes. So maybe not, but
Is it a common name? I don't know. I don't think
I'm
so.
not sure. Not sure. It's not Smith or Brown.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. But right from the start, so Agev kept getting close and pulling. What do they call it? It's collaring.
Yeah.
When you pull him behind the neck and he's hitting him.
Which you can't do.
Can't do.
Yeah, you can't. So you can't hold them and hit them.
No.
Which I saw a lot of, like with the knees and stuff.
There was a lot of that.
You know, like, because obviously you want to hold them while you knee them.
Yeah.
But the rule is you can't hold and hit.
Yeah, it's got to be a separate attack, which I don't mind, because that way it doesn't get into the clinch knee.
Yeah, well, you've got to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what kind of separates. And that's why I don't mind the lack of elbows. Because I think once elbows come in, I think it's going to get really messy and the distance is going to be different. So I was a bit hesitant on the knees, but now I found out that you can't clinch a knee.
I think knees with no grabs, not like, you know, so you can do a jumping knee, you can do a 1-2 knee.
Yeah.
It also means if you accidentally knee them, you know, sometimes you go for a kick.
Yep.
They come in, you knee them, then it's not an illegal move. So I think that's good. You can't accidentally elbow somebody, really.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder. You can on the ground.
Unless you're round kicking you. But yeah.
I mean, you could do a spinning back fist and accidentally elbow somebody, but it's not really going to look like an elbow. It's just going to be a straight up.
There was a spinning elbow. I can't remember who threw it, but yeah, anyway.
So yeah, I'm not sure how I feel at the elbows. Again, though, if you can't grab an elbow, what would that look like? We haven't really seen that, because all the rule sets where you can elbow, it's usually from the clinch and you're grabbing him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess, does anyone want to find out?
Yeah, I can't remember who. One of the fighters said he can't wait. He can't wait for the elbows, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I do like the fact that you can't clinch a knee or grab a knee. I think that cleans it up a bit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at the start, but I think it seems good at the moment, the way it is. Yeah.
The ref was angry because I don't think the Agev didn't, because it was his first fight. Yeah. I don't think
so. He was collar grabbing.
He did it a few times, and then after that, he was a lot better. But and both fighters in the second one were a lot calmer. And but I did have Callaway winning the first. Second one was Agev, and then it was the knockout. It was a big knockout. Agev was better. Agev knocked him out.
Punch.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and two big bodies.
I've got to make sure I go watch that one again.
Yeah, definitely.
Next day.
Agev obviously has a WKF karate background, because I think he was on the national team, the Azerbaijan national team, and he looks like a natural fighter. So if he stays in the weight division, I mean, his footwork was great. He was more in and out. Whereas Callaway didn't really know how to fight him properly. By round 2, it was all Agev, and Agev was going to win from round
regardless.
2. They both ran out of steam, but Agev was fitter and stronger, and probably because of his experience, understood how to control his emotions better. But yeah, the next fight, man, I really loved the next fight. Mitchell Thorpe, who I said I liked him before, versus Tommy Azuz. And actually, I really like Tommy Azuz as well. So for this one, they're both around the same age, 22, 23, 24, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty young.
Yeah, they'll be there for the next 10, 15 years if they stay with Karate Combat. Both excellent, nice guys. But right from the start, man, I thought Thorpe looked sharp. Not sharp looked Thorpe. Thorpe looked sharp right from the start. He had better footwork. He looked faster. He actually looked like he trimmed down or had trained more since his previous fight. But and unfortunately, Tommy wasn't as good. I did have Azuz winning the first round, but I thought that Mitchell came back and won the second and third. And honestly, it actually could have gone either way. It could have gone either way. Azuz both very similar sort of fighters, waiting for the anticipation, that sort of fight. There weren't a lot of
swinging, huge clashes.
No, it was a more technical fight, and I don't think. Look, Mitchell did a lot of kicks and takedowns and for the ground and pound, and Jesus just couldn't figure out how to stop it. So all of Mitchell's kicks were landing more than.
What's interesting I found is karate can obviously have really good head kicks.
Yeah.
But you don't really see that many doing head kicks, or landing head kicks. And I guess that's because everyone's kind of good at blocking them as well.
Yeah. Because of the experience. Like for you, like when you go into MMA, your head kicks are going to be spot on and sharp because people are not as used to them. The way that we move to do the kick, especially off that front foot.
Yeah.
If you do it off the back foot, it's easy to see. Front foot, hard to see that like flick action of the kick.
So quick, yeah.
Yeah. So probably because they both have a karate background, there weren't as many head kicks. I mean, all fights, there's not as many head kicks.
Yeah, really haven't seen that many.
But I thought in the third round, Mitchell looked. Can I call him Mitchell? I don't really know him. Mitchell Thorpe, Mitchie came back in the third round. Torpedo. I thought Thorpe came back, was way more aggressive in that third round. Looked fitter, and I thought he was going to win in that. If went to a split decision, I thought Thorpe would end up winning, and he did. But the next fight, Fernando Paz versus Diego Avendano. Look, it wasn't a great fight, and to be honest, this is about 2 hours into it, and I wasn't getting bored, but I needed a stretch, or I didn't really watch a lot of the fight. But Paz knocked him out, and what he did was he was attacking the body and then attacking the head, and then he's attacking the head and then attacking the body. So unfortunately, Diego, it's much easier to see than Avendano. So Diego, he was low and high and low. He was trying to work out which way to go, and he ended up knocking him out, and then coming over the top and hitting him, but for the ground and pound, but smack him in the body. So Paz ended up winning. And what was really funny is, so he got like completely knocked out, not a TKO, like a full on, rigor mortis style. And so it would have been a good 2 minutes. The medical officers were in and got him up, and he looked at the ref and he said, "Are we good to go?" And the ref's like, "No, mate, it's finished." And he's like, "What? Really? Why?" He didn't realize he got knocked out.
Yeah.
So he was ready to go.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I only remember it because I've seen the video. But I was fighting this guy called Bart in the Vic Open, and he's done 1-2 body kick, and I've gone dodge into the kick, shin to the head. My head moved about a half a meter, and I remember being down on the ground, and you got 10 seconds to get up.
Yeah.
And
which is an awful rule, dude. I hate that rule in WKF.
I mean, look, if you don't get up after 10 seconds, you probably shouldn't keep fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember thinking that one. I really remember it vividly, which was like, okay, got it. Just open your eyes, and I couldn't open my eyes. My brain was saying, "Open your eyes, get up," and I couldn't open my eyes. And then I got up. I was on the line. I was ready to go. I looked over at the judge and Nia, and he's going, Ken, you lose in the catch. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm good to go. Why you disqualify me? And then afterwards,
so 3 minutes.
Coach was like, yeah. I was only down for like a couple of seconds. Yeah. Down for like 30-40 seconds.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like 30-40 seconds. So I imagine that's what that's what like for him. Time is flexible when you're being knocked out. It's
Yeah, well, the reason I hate that rule in the WKF is you're not allowed to touch that person for 10 seconds. Whereas in karate combat, where it's full contact, UFC full contact, as soon as the person's knocked out, like as a
he's knocked out.
He's knocked out. And the karate combat is way more vigilant than the UFC.
Safety wise.
So they're like stop and then trying to get up. But in the WKF, you have to give them a 10-second count. And that 10 seconds can change somebody's life. 10 seconds, bro. You know when somebody's knocked out. And even if they get back up, if that's a knockout in rugby league, that person is not playing that night. That person's not playing that day. But in WKF, if you get up in 8 seconds, bro, you've been there, you know what it's like. After 8 seconds, you get a knockout, like you are scared to go in, your brain is fuzzy, you're not, the footwork is not the same. WKF have to change that rule. And
maybe it's boxing, you've got 10 seconds, right?
But that's boxing. This is karate. WKF is not boxing, and we have to look after our athletes, especially with this whole CTE, how the brain shakes, that sort of thing. The WKF have to do more. WKF have to do more for. Look what happened at the Olympics.
Look, if someone's out, I think I get that it's the 10-second, but if someone's out.
The referee should stop right away and get
there should be an override.
Totally, they got to change the rule. It's shit. I fucking hate that rule. Anyway, don't get me started on WKF stuff. But next one, George Perez versus James Vick. I was really looking forward to this fight. It was the worst fight of the whole. Yeah, unfortunately, it sucked.
No action or
no, it was. It was a bad fight. It was boring. So you know how when you get to a final, like it's a tight final and it's the most boring. It's like 1-0, 2-1, something like that, because like everything's on the line. It was like that. There's nothing on the line. It was just boring. There was no attacking. I mean, Perez used the ring circling. I will say though, right from the start, like within first 10 seconds or something, Vic took a kick. Perez kicked Vic right in the knee, and James Vick swore apparently. And I mean, obviously, you get kicked in the knee, of course you're going to swear. But the referee was like, "No, there's no swearing here." But what was funny was in the live broadcast, there was a fighter, and I'm not sure who it was. I missed that part, but he dropped the F-bomb. He's like, blah, 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 blah. I can't fucking wait to get in there. And he looks at the lady he was talking to, and he goes, "Oh, are we allowed to cuss?" And she's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." So I'm like, "Oh, cool." Anyway, it's live on YouTube, so who cares? But whatever. But dude, it was a boring fight. Now, I'd read a bit about Vic, and I watched some of his footage leading up to it, and he looked like an aggressive sort of fighter. He's a big dude. But in this fight, sorry. Let me go back. He's not an aggressive fighter, but for this match, he became an aggressive fighter, and it just didn't look natural for him. He was more sort of sitting in the pocket and countering. He's that sort of more of a fighter. But in this one, he kept coming forward, and he hardly threw any punches. He has a boxing background, and he was just all kicks, and his kicks were okay. But I think his hands would have been much better. For me, I would have wanted to see him close that gap with his hands rather than try to close that gap with his feet. And I don't know, man. It was a boring fight. I would say if I was Vic's coach, I would try to pressure him and put him into a corner. If he's going to be an aggressive fighter, put him into a corner, keep him in the corner, and attack with my hands. But if I was Vic's coach, I would go back to how he normally fights.
What he's good at.
Exactly. How he became a kickboxing MMA fighter is sitting back and waiting and countering. That was what he was great at. But in the press conference, so I scored this fight. First round to Vic, second round to Perez, third round to Vic. Because we've talked about it before, but how the judges view the matches is they want an aggressive fighter, similar to WKF. They want somebody out there who's looking to win, rather than somebody who's sort of like countering or anticipating. Even though if you're talking WKF, anticipating is that's how I used to fight. I wasn't an aggressive fighter, I was more of an anticipator or counterer. But if you're looking at it from a WKF or a karate combat, they want that aggressive, pushing forward, controlling the fight. Whereas you can control the fight as an anticipator or counterer, but the referees and judges have to understand that's what you're doing, and it's very hard to convey
That's what
that.
we were talking about.
Yeah.
With Josh Quag and at the fight under the fight, and then the actual fight the referees see. I guess I think the important thing is if you're anticipating in the corner, you still have to do work. You still have to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's not always the person that's pushing forwards is winning.
No.
But you have to actually make them pay. You make things miss, you have to make them pay. So
yeah, different when it's 1-1, 2-1 compared to 7-1. So that's obviously that I'm going to win. But for Vic after, I mean, he was pissed, bro. When they brought him back, he thought he'd won. He had his arm up here.
Oh, really?
And
like legitimately.
His arm was up, like thinking he'd won, and it went the other way. And he's walked off. He was pissed. And then he had the press conference afterwards. He has come out and slammed Karate Combat. I don't think he'll be back. I mean, if he comes back and fights, great. He's going to change the way he fights. But if he doesn't come back, I understand, because he was under the impression, as we all are, that if you are an aggressive fighter, like you're pushing and looking for, like you are going to be.
It's also it's hits landed, isn't it?
And he had more hits landed.
So
sure.
So what's the deal?
Perez had a better footwork and was circling and probably more selective on his attacks, on his strikes. But if I'm looking at it as a judge, the way that is written and supposed to judge it, Vic should have won. So no wonder he was pissed, man. He came to the press conference and dropped bombs. That's fucking bullshit. This, I mean, if he was Australian, he'd be like, that's fucking bullshit. But because he's not Australian, he was dropping F-bombs too, just saying it was shit and ridiculous. And anyway, it'd be interesting. Let me see if I can follow up with it and see if he's keen to go. Maybe we could get him on.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be keen for a fight, for a chat. Sure. Here we go. Finally, we get to the two main fights. You go with this one.
Look, this one.
I just wrote bull because it's too hard to write. Because the name.
Right. Well,
Iberian bull.
Iberian bull.
Do you know what it is? It's a Spanish fighting bull. I looked it up.
Yeah, that's what I said originally.
Right.
I thought it was. Yeah.
We thought it was, but
was Mina with the red hair. As soon as I saw him, as soon as it made me think of is do you remember Wesley Snipes?
Yeah.
Man. I was like,
no, but Wesley Snipes had blonde hair, yeah.
Blonde.
Because Mina fought last fight blonde hair.
Oh, did he?
Because remember last time we were talking, I said, I wonder what hairstyle.
Color.
And did you see what he had on the side of his head?
Yeah, the Karate Combat logo.
You know what he should have had? This ours. The microphone and the stick.
When that big, he'll have it on the other side. Yeah. But no, I like that. I love the red hair. Great on him, the Karate Combat logo. And look, great fight. Energetic from the start.
Fight. Loved it.
Both of them, were out for blood.
Yeah.
So no, really enjoyed that fight. I was surprised though. It was surprising. Because
Mina attacked a lot more.
Just at the finish.
Oh yeah, bro.
I didn't think it was gonna go that way.
Nobody did, mate. Yeah, I had Mina winning.
Yeah.
I had Mina winning.
Well, I can't remember. I didn't have notes, but
because I just kept writing the bull. The bull kept coming down.
So that's what they were saying. So he kept ducking the punches and then kind of clinching.
Yeah.
And
which is strange because Mina is not.
He was up for the head punch. So look,
he's not an aggressive fighter.
I guess if someone does an overhand right, ducking is good. And I mean, you got to watch the knees though.
Yeah, but Mina
didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If someone kept ducking, isn't that a clear option? You pretend you don't even throw the punch. You pretend to throw the punch. They duck. You just jumping knee to the head. But
Well, whatever tactic it works, because what a
well,
knockout,
that's what they're saying. They're like, or maybe that was because the commentators are like, why does he keep ducking?
Yeah,
What's the plan?
yeah.
Because he ducked, he'd clinch, he did nothing from there. He wouldn't
Yeah.
throw, he wouldn't do anything. It's like, what are you doing? And then he kind of looked like he was gonna duck and just gave that
Bang!
punch, and it was all over.
It was all over, and what a punch, bro!
Yeah, that was, and he was out.
Just
He
yeah,
was,
that
he
is.
was out for.
So if that's in the WKF, 10 seconds, bullshit. That guy's gone.
Like he was out. God, for a good minute and a bit, 2 minutes. You know, the bull had time to go make coffee, come back. He was kneeling down for a bit. You know, but like he didn't even make it to the hand raising thing. They carried him off, and obviously, you know,
That was it,
was in a bad way. It was a real knockout. That wasn't a TKO.
No,
Yeah, that's all it takes. One punch.
just one punch, mate. Yeah, in the third round too.
But no, it was a good fight. But yeah, I thought Minna was going to win. To be honest,
Me too.
yeah, I thought he was going to win. You've got him there, losing the second round. I mean, I kind of thought it was pretty close. You know, I just thought Minna was all over it.
Look,
to be honest.
I'm not a judge, and maybe mine is a little bit biased, but I mean, I love.
I thought he was just winning. I thought Minna was just winning, but like, up until that point in my head, I remember watching it. I was like, yeah, Minna's got this in the bag.
Yeah,
he's gonna clean him up. But yeah, all it takes is one punch, and that's what makes, you know, that's what makes it so good.
Yeah,
is you can be losing.
Yep.
One good punch, one good kick, it's all over.
Yep.
So you can always come back.
Yeah, and like when you're looking at rounds, if you're two down, you're looking for that knockout.
Yeah, you need it.
But man, that was my second favorite fight of the night. The next one was obviously the greatest fight I've seen.
Yeah, that was great.
But back to this one, you missed, and I told you to watch the interview afterwards, because the bull called out Ross Levine.
Really? Because
Ross Levine was in the crowd.
I thought he was just saying, "Oh, I missed that."
Yeah,
I thought he was just saying, "Yep, I've got it."
No,
I want the belt.
The lady who was talking afterwards, she's great, man. She knows. She must be a fan, or she's a fighter. She was wearing the biggest heels you've ever seen. I thought she was going to topple over, but she looked like she was on stilts. Whoa.
Is that a Halloween thing? Or?
Yeah, no, I think it was just she's probably short. But so she was interviewing the bull, and the bull called out, and Levine, she said, "Oh, who are you looking at fighting next? Do you want to fight Ross Levine?" And he's like, "Who? Ross Levine? I've never heard of him. Who's that?" And Levine's in the crowd, bro. And the shot goes to him, of course. Yeah. And he's just like sitting there like, "You son of a bitch." So yes, that will be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Here's a little tip. We actually have Ross Levine coming up shortly. So we were supposed to actually interview him this week.
Yeah.
But with the Karate Combat 36, it just timing didn't work out. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get Levine on, and we're going to ask him
what it was like in the crowd at that moment. Yeah.
Because it was all him, man. It was like,
I'm going to go back and watch that video.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. But have a look at my notes here. Bull has so much power, such a clean shit. Now that may have been should have been such a clean shot, because that shot that he got.
It was just, he was.
If you're on Instagram, like, that is everywhere. That I think somebody had it on their iPhone or following, and it right there. You just see it, and that will get replayed for ages, mate. And if people are wondering what Karate Combat is like compared to UFC, and it's karate, or it's full contact karate, whatever, just check that clip. That clip,
because it's clean.
It is a clean shot, and that'll knock everyone out. You can have strong neck muscles, but that'll knock anybody out. Now, last fight, man.
Now, I gotta say, I do a 4-pack. It's not a slab.
Mate, let's go back over. I didn't say carton.
I said $20, and then you said, "Oh, a carton." And I said, and then you were like, "No, that doesn't."
That's fair. That's. Do I get to choose?
You can choose.
Of any value?
What are we talking here? Some rare, like,
Yeah, that's right.
exotic
Yeah,
Ecuadorian beer.
double
A
IPA.
monkey, yes, buddy.
I'll see what I can
All
find.
right, but yeah, now this fight, look, I was
And also, just point out, I was going for Souza. So I love Souza.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to win. But you go on.
well, honestly, I thought he was going to win, and
Yeah.
and maybe I'm a bit skewed because the way Souza fights is a similar way that I probably fight in MMA, which is the move, hit. And I thought that in the clinch Souza would be a bit stronger. But against Skrivers, in the clinch, Skrivers, he was good.
He was
very good. Look, first couple of rounds, you know, Bruno, I didn't score it because I was kind of watching. I still had the kids running around, but first couple of rounds, I definitely felt that Bruno was winning 100%. And then as the fight went on,
Yeah.
it was kind of about halfway onwards, the tide started to turn. And by round 4,
Yeah.
Skrivers was definitely winning at round 4.
Yeah. Well, I had Souza winning the first round, Skrivers the second, but it could have gone either way.
Yeah, very, very close. To be honest, the first 3 were very close.
Yeah.
I thought Bruno maybe had won it, but
yeah, I had Souza third, Skrivers
but close ones.
fourth and fifth.
Either way, and again, I'm not watching it with a judging eye. I'm just watching it.
As a fan.
Looking at the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, Skrivers. Look, he definitely made a fan of me. In terms of just the way we know that Bruno has a tank.
Yes.
Has a gas tank, but Skrivers what is he running on? Like, his tank's limitless. He just looked great in the 4th round, 5th round. Looked fantastic. He was just I was actually, do you know what it reminded me of? Is that gold belt versus gold belt fight with Clay Hagan. Where I was hoping it would go with Roger. It would go a 6th round because Clay Hagan had found his steam, and I thought, yep. If it goes to 6th round, Clay Hagan will win because the tide had turned and it was close enough.
Yeah.
This reminded me of the same thing. And what happened was at the start, I was going for Bruno, and as the fight kept going, because I actually thought Bruno won the first 3, and I was like, Skrivers had just come back and the tide had turned, and I started rooting for Skrivers. I was like, I hope he knocks him out because he deserves to win. Yeah. And that's the only way he's going to win, in my mind. And so in the 5th round, he was going really, really strong. And I thought, if this goes to 6th round, Skrivers will win it. But to Bruno's credit, in that 6th round, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
So in that 6th round, I had Skrivers in the first 60 seconds, Souza in the next 60 seconds, and then Skrivers in the last 60 seconds. So, dude, it could those.
No, Skrivers definitely won the 6th round.
Agreed.
But it wasn't a domination.
No.
It was he won it, but Bruno.
It's a rematch.
Bruno needed to fight in the 5th round, like he did in the 6th round. He needed to fight in the 5th round and push his gas tank and fight like there was no 6th round. And he probably would have won it if he. I kind of feel like
I think for karate combat compared to a UFC or an MMA, there's more footwork. There's no clinching, so you're constantly moving.
Yeah,
and I think the gas tank is a different gas tank. And this is a 5 round. Souza's only fought a 3 round, whereas Skrivers has fought a few.
Well, he used to be the gold.
Well, remember we didn't think it was going to be a 5 round because they're not fighting for a title. Why was it a 5 round? 100%. I love that.
So the reason why it's a 5 round fight,
whoever
wins is fighting for a title. So they made, and it's the main event. So basically, the deal with that was, Skrivers obviously wants the gold belt back.
Yeah.
And Bruno, as we saw in that interview with Baz, Bruno was like, no, I want to fight. Yeah. I want to fight him.
That was awesome.
And that's the deal. So, that's why. So it was a championship fight because it's a semi-final, essentially.
Yes. It's good because it gives Souza a chance at a 5-0 as well, even though it went to 6.
6
is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Remember?
But Skrivers look great in 6.
Yeah.
And
But look,
definitely.
these are some of the notes, like, and I wrote a lot of notes, but I will say that Souza actually looked trimmer. He looked fitter.
I was very surprised in the clinches, you know, because he looked so good in his first fight, with the throws and stuff in the clinches, but Skrivers, clinch work, he couldn't really throw him.
Yeah.
So, you know, hats off to Skrivers.
He
I'll
negated his throw,
definitely be looking forward to Skrivers' next fight.
Well,
He looked great.
Skrivers, he changed his fighting style. Right from the start. He was more side on and
forwards, backwards. I was like,
he looked like karate.
Yeah. And then he went back to his old, like, he's got two. He can fight both ways.
Yeah. And if he can turn it on, if he can manually change himself, it's great. But if he's automatically going back to his way forward, I don't think it's going to be that great.
I mean, obviously that's his default.
Yeah.
But the fact that he can actually move in and out is
and his hands were much lower, Skrivers,
than the usual.
The boxing, So I mean, like, once the hands are down, like Souza's hands are down here, man. And if you're wondering why karate hands are lower than a boxer's hands,
that's because you block with your movement.
That's right. And the distance is different. And when your hands are low, if you watch like guys like Rafa Agev,
well, it's much easier to move with your hands.
Your body is moving with your hands.
You can't move your shoulders. When your hands are up, like that. Not the same way.
Your legs and hips are moving with your hands, and because of the eye line, you can't see that hand coming from down here. So that is why Souza, he fights a lot like that. You know, a lot like Machida, obviously. How cool was it? Machida and his dad were Lord Machida and his dad were in the audience,
in the crowd.
That was awesome. Like they are like full on celebrities. You know, I'd fanboy if we had Machida, any of the Machidas, even if the jiu-jitsu Machidas came in, I'd be keen. But I did say I did write a couple of notes, like every time Skrivers landed a strike, Souza came back with a strike, and it was.
But I did feel like Skrivers' strikes were
stronger.
And that's the thing, you know, when you're scoring it, and you go, well, this guy landed like 10 strikes. This guy landed like 5. But his strikes were like twice as strong. Like, how does the scoring work on that? Is it still just 5 strikes or 10 strikes? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because that's always the thing. When I used to referee WKF, and you know, you'd have 2 guys fighting, and the scores are even. It goes to a vote. And I know there's the rules, who's controlling the fight, and that. But at the end of the day, the easiest way for me was I was like, well, which one of these 2 guys would I rather be my student if they're kids, or if it's me, if they're adults? Which one of these 2 people would I rather be the fighter? Yeah, who would I rather be, or whose student would I rather have? And so you kind of, I don't know, like in this case, it's full contact. The more powerful shot for me, got to be worth more than just a little jab. Can't be worth as much as like a full dunk.
Unless that is the game, unless that is you're trying to wear him down with jab.
Yeah, but you can wear him down with jab. But like, you know, in the same way in WKF that a head kick's worth 3 because you get kicked in the head. It's a lot different to getting punched in the head. Which is good. I think it's great that they've changed it to those rules.
I hate that
as opposed to the old, you know, you can get a full.
Okay, let's take a side note on that. I fucking hate that 3-point rule, because now
it's a shitty kick though.
But they're all shitty kicks now.
But that isn't a problem with
the interpretation of the
point rule. The 3 2-point rule. Like, if you take somebody down and you hit them, that's 3 points. That's a lot better than just doing a front hand jab.
Okay.
Like, so it's not.
But what I used to like.
What you've got a problem with is shitty technique scoring.
No, what I have a problem with is referees and judges not understanding the intent or the. Originally, Kumite, I'm just going off topic here, was meant one strike, 1 kill. This is why the Ippon rule came in. Ippon, one point. But what I have a problem with is if I get a clean front hand, so you're coming forward,
timing is perfect,
and I eat you with a front hand, that's worth 1 point. But you kick me with your toes, that's worth 3. Fuck, man, like I would have knocked you out.
Look, I get that. I get that. As we've seen in the karate combat, you know, one punch can knock
100%.
one punch can knock you out. So in that respect, I do understand that. But what I'm saying is,
there's not many people get knocked out by a WKF kick to the head.
Finals of the bloody. No, but what
did he get knocked out? Oh.
What I'm saying is,
did he say
like if you're if you're doing a hard punch, because some of Skrivers punches, they were hard. They were hard, and Bruno could take a hit.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, let's say the whole round, you punch me once, I punch you once.
Yeah.
But my punch is like a hard punch, and yours is a little tap.
Yeah.
You've got to go for the person who did the hard punch. No.
I would think
right?
that, yeah.
I don't know. We can ask Kovacs about the rules.
Yeah.
We've got him on.
If he comes on.
If he comes on.
Yeah.
When he comes on.
When he comes
positive.
on. Yeah. But I did what's his name? Souza did something stupid. And I like Souza.
The kick?
Yeah, the stand.
Well, I like that. I like that. He's Brazilian, he's got some flair. I didn't like that.
It's a long time to use it. Like those kicks are okay. It's like when you get to the final. You don't do stupid shit when you get to the final. You rely on the stuff that got you.
Say that, but if it worked, you'd be like,
yeah. I agree. I wouldn't do that against Skrivers because that dude will eat that up, and he's lucky that he didn't get eaten up on that.
But he did it right at the end of the round.
Yeah,
it's a good time to do it. You do it.
I tell you when the good time to do it is at the dojo, not when you're like.
Oh, you can tell that to Bruno or talk to him.
Okay, I will.
I reckon.
But Skrivers does some stupid things too. I'm not saying that they're stupid things. I'm saying that things that maybe shouldn't do. Because in the heat of the moment, we all do. I mean, how many times you put somebody into the corner, there's 10 seconds to go, and you do a spinning hook kick, right? Happens all the time. But I'm just saying he does a jumping spinning hook kick, jumping spinning back kick, or jumping spinning side kick. And if somebody grabs it and takes him down and grounds and pounds for 5 seconds, that could change the whole round. Yeah. Because a ground and pound, if you get 5 clean strikes.
But put it this way, Bruno did that kick, that handstand kick. Who's prepared for that?
Well, anybody who watched his previous fight, because he did it in the previous fight.
Yeah, but that's like saying
it's surprised that
no one's really defended, like you haven't practiced that in the dojo.
Yeah, I look at that kick as the same as the scorpion kick in the WKF. Fucking shit.
That's probably worth doing more as a bit of a Hail Mary rather than
definitely Hail Mary in the sixth round.
Early round, like
6th round, a minute to go.
6th round,
that's when
that's the whole time.
And you hit him with the shin.
Yeah.
Not with the foot, which is where he was. But anyway, it was an awesome. It was
a great fight.
It was a great fight, and I hope they do a rematch.
A rematch? Well, I mean, Skrivers has got to fight for the belt after this.
Yeah, so Souza will come back, and I mean, if Skrivers wins,
so Souza's probably got to win at least another fight.
Yeah,
or 2 to kind of qualify, especially if Skrivers got the belt.
Yeah.
But hopefully we will see him fight again one day.
Yeah. And we'll try and get him on as well.
Try and get him on.
But look, anything else to add?
Nah, let's call it a night.
Well, let me just add. I said it before, but this was this whole
the whole card,
the production, the whole card, the production value. It is awesome. It is very easy to sit there for like 4 hours. I think from
it just gets better and better.
I can't wait until it becomes more mainstream. And if you look at, I was watching the YouTube live feed and the comments, and a couple of people were complaining about the stream, how it kept cutting out. But man, like, it's free. You're not paying anything. What are you complaining about? And they don't have a lot of money. It's not like they're flush with cash. Like, they've got millions and millions. Unlike the UFC, they've got sponsors up the wazoo. But
hopefully they can get some good sponsors. And
well, they do have some awesome sponsors. But I mean, it's only going to get bigger and better. And
that's what I mean. Yeah, like
and I hope they have more events. Oh, the next KC37, December 17. So what are you doing?
We can put a bet on for that one. We'll talk about it in the preview.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we do a main card bet every time.
Yeah. Well, Quayhagen may be fighting.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see. We'll
the,
see.
the card hasn't been announced, so
I think there's one fight, but I'm not sure who's on that
there's
fight.
2 fights announced.
Oh, 2
yeah,
fights.
But yeah, the whole card has been released.
Okay,
so.
okay. Well, I suppose with the WK, oh sorry, WK, with the Karate Combat, it depends on how people come back after this one as well. After this, so if you're watching the
Injuries.
yeah,
that kind of thing.
like I looked at Mitchell Thorpe's interview afterwards. Man, he was cut as like this shit coming off his face. So it depends on the injury. So like Nikos Kodakos, did he break his leg? I'll have to follow up on that one. But
even if it's just fractured, like you can't do another fight.
you can't train.
You can't do another fight.
And then leading up to it, how many times? Like I just said before, I broke my foot 2 weeks before a national. So
that's like Manny Stevens.
He had
changed 3 times.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, like this was definitely the best card. So it's only going to get better. So guys, look, thank you for joining us.
We've got a video interview with Josh Payhagen coming up soon.
Yep.
Put that out, and yeah, we'll do a preview for that next one, and hopefully get an interview with another fighter.
Yeah.
Go back soon.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of guys that we've got lining up, but because we are in Australia and most of the fighters are US or South America or Europe, it's a little tricky, and you've got 2 kids with one on the way.
Maybe in a couple of weeks. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Talk to you later. Oh, also, don't forget to subscribe to us. We need more subscribers. So send it to your friends, even if they don't like Karate Combat, even if they don't like karate, send it to them. We need as many subscribers as possible, and follow us on Instagram, because I'm putting up a lot of funny stuff. and otherwise, we're just 2 blokes enjoying Karate Combat. See you guys.